This is the Troutbitten podcast.
Troutbitten. Troutbitten?
Troutbitten.
Troutbitten.
Troutbitten?
Yeah, Troutbitten.
Troutbitten.
It's about trout.
Wild trout. This is Troutbitten. This is the Troutbitten podcast. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Dominic Swantowski. I'm the owner of Troutbitten and the author of Troutbitten.com. All right, we're back with season 16, and it's episode 2 of the Blue Liner's Bible. This one is all about finding the right water. And really, we mean this in 2 different ways. First, you need to find a small stream that has public access, or you have a private permission, I guess. But the stream also needs cold water and a good population of trout. Hopefully, they're wild trout. So that's the first thing, find a good stream to fish. And honestly, that may not be as easy as it sounds. Do start to explore new territory and get into the small stream game. You'll quickly understand what we mean firsthand when we say that the exploration is part of the reward. We talked a lot about that last week. It's a good thing. And that failure to find good water on one trip makes the next trip, where you do find what becomes one of your favorite places in the world, even more special. So we'll talk about that tonight. How do you choose your next adventure, right? Identifying primary and secondary water and kind of how to balance that risk versus reward. We did address a lot of that last week. That do-it-yourself kind of nature to the whole thing can be tough, but then you have that finish line there where you find something really special that you feel like is all yours. Meaning you could fish the small stream that everybody talks about in Montana or Pennsylvania because you could be sure that trout are present in good numbers. And I mean it. There's plenty of good information out there about small streams, legit small streams full of wild trout that are up in the woods, up in the mountains, and that information's there for you. You can go fish those streams. That's cool. But would you rather take the chance on the stream that no one mentions, one of these no-name streams? And maybe it does have all the variables that you're looking for in your research, the kind of research we're going to talk about tonight. And because it has no name, you can be sure that really no one else will be there. And you know that you're going to have a different experience. You're going to have that solitude. You're going to have that kind of private, hey, this is all mine kind of experience, a different kind of reward. So understanding those variables and knowing what your good sources are for research is part of our topic here tonight. And then the other part of finding good water is from an on-stream perspective. Once you're there, what section should you choose to fish? And even within that section, what water type should you target the most? Do you expect trout in the deep pools or the riffles, in the fast water or the slow, shady, deep undercuts? And that can change season to season, obviously. With water conditions. Yeah, we're going to go through some of that tonight. A lot goes into those choices, right? Much of it is seasonal. Some of it is about matching your tactics and your fly choices. And another part is just experience and instinct. Some of it's preference. It's what do you want to do? And go find water that matches what you want to do. Again, all of this stuff is why we love small stream fishing. None of it is laid out for you. Understand this. A good fly shop will not lead you to these places. Some places. Some small streams, but they're not going to give away any of the greatest small streams. And even a good friend with the best intentions may not even have half of the intel that you really need for a good day, or let's say your best day, of small stream fishing. Like we said last time, the small stream game really is this do-it-yourself kind of experience. So that's what we have lined up. A couple things to talk about with finding the right water. Also, we want to thank everyone out there for the excitement, for the positive response to the start of this season. It's something we've been looking forward to, and glad to hear you're enjoying it. Appreciate your questions. Keep them coming. We'll start answering those questions here in the next episode. So let's get to it. Here's my buddy Austin Dando, friend of the fishes, mostly the little fishes. Right? Austin, is that why you like small stream fishing, buddy? Because the 10 inchers are the trophies of the day sometimes?
Yeah, I get to carry a little net. This is nice.
Bit of a small trout connoisseur, right?
Yeah.
Kind of your thing.
Remember we went to the fly fishing show?
Yeah,
we got
I do.
interviewed.
Yeah.
And there was something about, they're asking us about what we saw that day. And you said some nets.
Yes.
And you made a real smart comment about how I only needed little nets.
Little nets.
Yeah.
Could you target the little fishes?
Yeah.
We should go back and find that. That was a fun video. Do you remember who that was?
That was Farmington. That was Farmy. What's his name?
Farmy.
Farmington River.
Yeah.
On Instagram. He does the, he's got like the mic that looks like CNN, but it's his own brand. It's funny.
And I called you out for your love of the small fishes. It's an excuse, really. You're like, I'm really into them. I really love those small ones because, you can't catch the big ones. Is that it? Just right. I mean, like you said last week, no expectations.
Yeah. It's built-in excuses, really.
Built in. There's no big fish. Hey, seriously. Have you caught some bigger fish in small waters?
Yeah, certainly.
Do you have stories about that?
Yeah. I'd say the majority of my stories are probably from out west than they are in the east. But
go ahead. I thought you were going to say the majority of my stories are, about big fish.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that at least for a percentage of what I would consider maybe a big fish in a small stream. The bulk of them have been in the west, but certainly some back home too.
So if you want to,
not like a ton, but I also don't target them very much.
Well,
there's certain.
built-in
let's
excuse.
be real. There are certain ways to target big fish in small streams. And
please tell us.
Well, we will eventually, but
little teaser.
Isn't that episode 5 or something?
I think it's 5.
Yeah. So.
You agree that streamers brings the big boys out in the small streams, if they're there?
Yeah, I mean they'll definitely show themselves to you readily if they're there. I'm not gonna say it's the only way, but
no, but like more than dry flies, right?
Yeah, certainly.
Nymphs too, definitely nymphs.
Yeah,
and for me, it'd be a bigger nymph, like inch and a half, stonefly or something like that.
Yep. Big piece of food, maybe a big piece of food either way.
Like a hot dog.
Hot dog. With chili cheese in the middle, maybe be good.
With legs on it. Hot dog with legs on it, like these kind of legs.
Maybe like a little bit of a marabou tail. That's good.
And like a Colorado blade, like coming out the end of it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's still fly fishing. You're
red
fine.
Stripe down the side, maybe.
If you tied it on a hook, it's a fly. Okay?
Got it.
So that's the secret to catching big fish. Nah, I was just wondering. So I got to follow up on that. You fished out west, small streams, and you're talking Montana, right? General?
Yeah.
Right? Is that fair?
Yeah, mostly Montana.
And then here in PA, is it easier to find the bigger ones in those small streams, in Montana versus PA? This would be a good one to ask Grobe.
Yeah, right. I mean, my perception is going to be limited to the regions and the time I was there. But I think my answer to that would be, I think it's more common for small streams out there to hold big fish than back east.
Yeah.
So maybe your chances of running into them are higher because they might be in most of them to some degree. Where around here, you're gonna have to have really specific setups to. Maybe I call a big fish in a small stream 17 inches or more or something.
I
whatever.
agree with you.
You're gonna find those much more readily available, in my opinion, in western streams than you will in the eastern streams. So,
one of the troubles in PA is there's way too much stocking. And you just said the word setup. I know you didn't mean it in this way.
Yeah.
But we often say, well, that's kind of a setup. We'll see people with big fish and we'll hear stories. I'm like, well, he was kind of fishing the setup. And we know that he was in a club or he was next to a club or that the fish commission stocks, downstream of that and some big fish come up and then people feed them. And there are
private
stockings,
all types of stuff.
Lots of setups in this state. Well, whatever. You go out to Montana and there's no stocking in the rivers, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's different. It is. That's why I'm going to build a van and go out to Montana.
Yeah. So if anyone's interested in Troutbitten van project, get in touch.
Beautiful podcast.
You are serious, though. You're going to do that.
Oh, hell yeah. So. If I talk about it, I usually do it. It just takes me a little longer than I want it to.
Well, you've been talking about it a while, so I have a feeling it's going to happen.
So, we're getting to be about that time.
Yeah.
Where it's time for some action. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all on its own.
One of these days.
Yep.
Nice talking with you. Get to know you a little bit there, Austin, for the introduction.
Yep. Friend of the small fishes.
Friend.
Anytime.
That's right.
Tell,
All right, topic
tell
time.
you all about how to catch them.
Topic time. We're already way too far into this. Do you remember what the original skills series format was supposed to be?
Yeah, bang, 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 30 minutes in, 30 minutes, you're done.
Yeah, stop goofing around.
Yeah.
Because season 1 was the full crew format, and we goofed around quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Do you remember, too, how when we started season 1, I was like, hey, guys, like no inside jokes. Like nobody wants to hear the yuck, yuck, yuck. It doesn't, it doesn't convert.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to understand the inside jokes. Doesn't like just, don't take it too far.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say by episode 2 or 3, we were, everybody knows what this podcast is, right? But you're like, we're having fun. Let's just roll with it. And things took off. People seem to enjoy it. And again, this community aspect. Now, I can't tell you how many times, like, I'm not even fishing. I'm just running, up into the canyon. Mm-hmm. And I hear somebody go, hey now.
That's so funny.
I'm like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Anyway, all the inside jokes and stuff like that.
Yep. It's very social.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So we came out of season 1, and you and I had the idea to do this skills series. What was it? I think it was a tight line nymphing skills series.
Was it nymphing, or it wasn't winter fishing, was it?
Maybe. I think. Anyway, we just
our listeners will know.
They would. We thought that the skills series. Let's do this. Just you and me. We'll do it different, where we're going to be very technical. Well, try to be just to the point, right? And we even kind of made jokes. We said, "Hey, stop goofing around.
That's
Get to
right.
the facts. Get to the facts."
Yep.
And what are we doing now?
I think we're catching up.
Jerking off. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Building sheds.
Building sheds. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's dig into the topic, and I want you to stay on target. Don't screw this up.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Back to this idea of exploration. That's part of the attraction of this whole thing. It's about finding water and finding trout, and that's really what we're here to talk about. How do you find them? Well, how do you find the good waters to fish? And because most of these waters receive so little fishing pressure, these discoveries can very much feel like the waters are all yours. We said last week, I'm a pioneer. Look at me.
Big pioneer.
I once walked into, there were 3 forks of this tributary.
No, there wasn't.
There was. And I walked into the middle one. Anyway, I walked far, 3 miles, 2.5, 3 miles. It was hot. I remember I got down into the river, kind of in a pretty steep valley. This is in Western PA, actually. And I actually dunked my head. You ever do that? You're so dang hot.
Yes.
Right? I did. I put my bald head under the water.
That's the best.
It was. And I got a lot cooler.
Yep.
And I kind of recuperated from that walk. I'm like, okay, I'm all right. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to fish. I went around the first bend. There's a dude standing there. Just fishing. Right? I'm not standing there naked or anything, Austin. Don't get excited. No, but really, there's a guy fishing. I'm like, come on. What are the odds?
Oh.
And whatever.
Tough.
Honestly, I gave him his space. I went over to the right channel, the east branch or whatever it was called. Anyway, usually if you go far, you're going to have the kind of experience where you feel like a pioneer. Like, hey, look, I discovered something.
Right.
So I want to tell you about Tajima Direct. They make the best polarized lenses on the market. Tajima gives me perfectly clear vision and more detail with less eye strain, so I see more fish. The process is simple. Take a pair of your sunglasses and send them in to Tajima. In short order, you'll get your frames back with your choice of lens tints that are specifically designed for fly fishing. With both prescription and non-prescription, Tajima's patented lens technology results in the best lenses I've ever worn, including every top brand out there. So I wear polarized lenses all day, every day, on the water. And I've been rotating in Tajima's brown 15 green mirror for average light days, and their yellow-green 40 silver mirror for the cloudy low-light days that I love to fish. I can tell you that for me, having Tajima's prescription lenses in the right lens tints has been a game changer. I put my glasses on, and I don't think about them again until the end of the trip. Send in your own frames today. Visit tajima-direct.com. That's TAJIMA-direct.com. Upgrade your lenses and see what you've been missing. So Troutbitten listeners already know the crew's favorite beer is Broken Heel's Hazy IPA from New Trail Brewing Company. But our friends at New Trail are hard at work developing our next favorites. Each one is like a different fly pattern because some fit your current situation better than others. Like this one they call 24/7 because it's the beer we could drink 365, crafted to go anywhere, anytime. 24/7's light body and low alcohol make it a must-have when you've got day-long plans but still want full IPA flavor. Then there's Trail Marker West Coast IPA, inspired by classic pine and orange flavor. Trail Marker is brilliantly clear, nicely bitter, and available in 2 varieties, West Coast IPA and Imperial IPA. You can bet the Troutbitten crew will mix these styles into the cooler with Broken Heels. So check out newtrailbrewingcompany.com to find retailers near you or on the way to the river. It's not like small streams will stay the same either. Like once you find a handful of favorite waters and places for small stream fishing that you feel like kind of are yours, you should also expect them to change. I said last week how these are small streams. They have room usually to spread out. You think about it, a lot of our larger rivers are right up against railroad tracks or right up against a road, a hard road. And it doesn't have room to spread out into the floodplain and therefore create a new channel. It's the opposite with small streams. They're going to change. And I feel like, I don't know, every 10 years, if I had to put a number on it, I have to almost reevaluate, or I get excited about like re-exploring old waters. And I'm like, man, this is completely new. One of the ones that my uncle and my dad and my grandfather and I camped on, I go back there every year with the boys. I make a point of it. It's kind of one of our things that we do every year. And I am shocked by how much it has changed. All you need is one big water event. And I'm like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. You know, I was saying last episode, a lot of the waters I grew up on were small. So I got to kind of watch it change over the kind of the first half of my life. And you come back after a storm and what was once a deep hole is now a sandbar, and where a tree wants to be where a tree once was is now gone, or it's fallen in and it's created a giant pool. And you know, that stuff happens all the time.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you something slightly off topic. We've had so much high water around here. I mean, you know, we had rivers in major flood stage. I've been very surprised, really, on some of our bigger waters, I'm saying, which is off topic. Some of the rocks that it got moved, you know, you said how a sandbar will get moved. We all know rock bars will get moved. And people out west are, I'm sure they're used to this. But here, I'm used to maybe, I'm going to say fist-sized rocks being about the biggest that will get moved around with high water events. Man, I've seen, like 4 times that size moved around in whole like rock bars. They're just a whole new thing in the river.
It's funny you say that because I was on a small stream just recently and I noticed because of the high water events that there are these large rocks like up into the bank and up against trees and stuck into limbs and stuff that never were there before. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there is this much a force of water coming into this small stream to displace all this stuff.
Yeah.
But makes sense, right?
Yeah, to pick up big rocks like that. Rock wants to sink, man. You know, so
that's just nature.
Yeah, it's got to have a very fast, significant flow to push it around, lift it up like that, and push it into the limbs that you're kind of talking about.
Rocks want to sink, man.
Yeah, right?
Ain't
That's
that
the
true?
quote of the day.
That is good.
You guys go ahead, take that with you, right? You can use it. I don't mind. Anybody out there, you can use that in conversation.
On topic, okay?
You don't even have to quote me.
Yep. Tighten up.
All right, things about a stream change. It's not just the rocks get moved around and it's a new floodplain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can be the opposite. Any weather condition, you could have drought years. The opposite of sort of the flood stages. Sometimes the streams can be stocked or begin stocking that weren't stocked before. I mean, that's not something we love there.
Yeah, please don't stock over wild trout.
Yep.
PA Fish Commission.
Just general industry, logging, gas drilling, things where equipment is moving in and out, creating new roads or clearing out underbrush or things like that around the canopy of the stream. You can see land management change. Stuff can get posted, structures put up, development, lots of stuff.
It
Lots
is
of human impact.
Yeah, people suck too. Right? I mean, everybody's got a piece of land and they want to do different things with it that the trout don't really necessarily like.
It's the home of the free, Dominic.
Oh, well, it makes people money. It's the home of the people that make money. That's what it is. The gas drilling really made an impact around here on some of the favorite small streams. There's a region where they did so much gas drilling, and I'm going to say 5 or 6 streams that were kind of there's one road that runs north and south, and there were 4 on the west side and 2 on the right side. They were, I mean it, my most frequented small streams. I wanted to go small stream fishing. I'd travel about 40, 45 minutes, and I'd be on one of those streams. I have great memories on all of those streams. They started drilling for gas. I'm like, gosh, there's just vehicles everywhere. And then they're tearing everything up. And I get it. I don't want to get into that. But now I will say it's settled down. And, they're done drilling. And the gas wells are there. That's fine. But the streams so far are fine. And I'm getting back to it. Last summer, and then even last fall, I was revisiting some of those streams. I was like, oh, good, I can be here again. The main reason I didn't want to be there is because there was just so much noise. And, the drilling, the vehicles in and out. I'm like, this sucks.
It's not what you're looking for.
No, it wasn't. So how do you find the right streams to fish? I mean, I think that's our first real question here. And let's talk about the resources. What do you use, Austin? What are your resources at the age of 30 years old? How do you find a small stream? Say you're going outside of this state to some other state and you've never been there. What are you going to do?
Sure. I mean, I love Google Maps. I especially love the satellite view of Google Maps. I love the road view of Google Maps when they're available. And then we've been seeing more and more states kind of adopt this trout map, more or less digital trout map that you can go on and look
the Fish
at different
Commission.
states that
State Commission.
will show you where wild trout live often, what's stocked, what's not, what has reproduction, what maybe would be considered wilderness trout stream. Different states have different designations, but they're similar concepts. So I'll use that combined with all the different mapping software available to kind of get an idea. Sure. Also look about where that stream goes, what might come into it, all that.
Those are the same resources I'm using. I mean, guidebooks too. I said last week, even like Trout Unlimited clubs will often give you seriously detailed maps of the whole watershed. They're available as PDFs on their website many times. Obviously, friends who have been there before. I gotta say, I kind of like to do my own research, though.
Yeah.
We've talked about it too. I've had some of our friends, they're like, oh, I'll tell you all about it. I'm like, I'll figure it out for myself.
I mean, it's cool to know that I don't know. I've come to appreciate that more. In the past, I'd be a little bit more like, yeah, tell me more. But I don't know. It's like, it's neat that you've been there. I know that you've had success. Let me go first, and then we can talk about it.
I know. Well, if a friend can say, oh, that area is nice. I did well there. I fished 3 streams or 3 tributaries, 3 small streams. And, I did really well. I had a great, camping trip. They were out there for 3 or 4 days or something. Yeah, that's good information. Yeah. But I always, for me, I'm going to trust myself, right? Again, this is a DIY kind of thing. And we love to explore. That's part of the reward. And I just kind of do want to figure it out myself. Also, like you brought up topo maps, Google Maps, the satellite view and everything. Trout Routes is an example of an app. Now, there's other apps that do similar things. But there are apps now that will aggregate all of that data. And then, you can use something like Trout Routes to show you, again, what the State Fish Commission will list.
Sure.
You kind of take the State Fish Commission information and some fly shop information and put it on top of Google Maps. That's kind of what Trout Routes does and other apps like that. I think the State Fish Commission information, at least in our state, is some of the most valuable stuff that you can use for your research when you're trying to find the next viable small stream.
Sure.
Our state lists Class A streams, wilderness trout streams, and then streams with wild reproduction.
That's right.
And honest to God, I've found that any of those,
and
if
stock
it has
streams, don't forget, PA loves stock streams.
Well, I was trying not to talk about how PA stalks over wild trout. Thanks a lot.
Well, let's hit it. Yeah, again.
They're going the wrong direction, Austin. Are you going to stop them?
Do everything we can.
Our state fish commission needs some help in their direction. And we'll move on. Anyway, they still put out good data about where wild trout are.
Yeah.
And if they list it, I've always had good, I mean it, I've almost always had good fishing if they listed it as just even wild reproduction.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Pennsylvania is one of the better states in terms of kind of being on top of that. Even some of our neighboring states that we might travel to fish are not nearly as sophisticated or well documented, I feel like. They may be well documented, but they're not digitized like Pennsylvania is really taking a good job of doing.
Digitized. It's a 21st century word, Austin.
That's good.
You like that?
Yeah, that's why I picked it. Very relevant.
All right. So when you find these rivers, streams, I like the word rivers, but it doesn't apply here.
They're not really rivers.
They're not rivers. When you find these streams, small creeks, brooks, perhaps.
Ooh, I like that name.
I like that word. I know you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you find these, keep some records. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Sure.
But maybe keep some records, because if you're exploring it, at a pretty good rate, things can really start to blend together. I said last week how I mean it. I spent 2 or 3 years just hitting as many rivers streams as I could. And I didn't take notes as much as I kind of wish I had, but I used highlighters, and I used kind of a system.
That's cool.
Yeah, of showing where I had caught wild brook trout.
Analog.
And wild brown trout. That's right. And I highlighted things in a Delorum Atlas, Pennsylvania Gazetteer. Is that how you say it?
That's how I've heard it.
Sounds a little French when you say Gazetteer.
In many ways.
Okay, you try.
No, I think that's right. I think that is the right way to say it.
You want to try another way?
No, I don't. I'm trying to stay on topic.
If you're hitting these streams at a good clip, keep a record, because it's a lot. I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. Even like, well, you're going to get older, and you're going to look back and go, man, what was I fishing 10 years ago? And all you need is a little bit of data to go off of. Yeah. Some of the apps, honestly, have a way that you can keep notes. That's super cool. Keep a diary, keep some notes, keep a logbook within the app. And then when they go out of business, you got nothing.
I just use right now I use the Notes app on my phone, the one that comes with it.
Oh, and that's so smart.
I do it for every stream that I fish, but especially it's nice for the small ones because you can write down some of those maybe less memorable details. And then I also just like to take pictures. I usually end up taking pictures on small streams regardless of where I'm at, because usually they're really pretty and I want to remember what it looks like. So I can kind of go back and look at the date on the photo, and also make sure it's the same date that I was there on my Notes app, and make sure I'm in the right spot.
You got a real system there, Austin.
Yeah, just sort of happened on it.
It's a winning system.
Seems so what are you so far?
So what are you looking
Very
for?
Digitized.
I'm trying to move on. So what are we looking for, man? When you are fishing that small stream, when you're trying to select a small stream, you're going out of state and you're trying to figure it out, and you've just used these resources we talked about.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
It doesn't even have to be out of state. It could just be somewhere I've never been. It could be right out the doorstep. But the first thing I do is if you're looking for like a high percentage, if you're going to take a risk on something, or maybe you just want to fish a small stream that you've never been to before, or you got a bunch in front of you, and how do you pick which one? Okay. I just start with the Class A's. And those ones, at least we'll kind of go back to that confidence. At least that's where I start. Say, well, I know this is designated to have a certain fish population in it. They may even tell you if it's a mixed brook or brown, or all brook or brown. Gives you an idea of what might be in there, but that's pretty much all you're getting. And that's more than enough to get started. Yeah. So I'll look at the Class A's. I'll look to see kind of what the distance is, what the drive would look like, how I might get in there. Again, I like to really look at, you mentioned topo maps. I like to look at the gradients of the streams because it can help me pick an access.
Oh, that's nice. Well, what do you mean? Can I interrupt you? What do you mean by the gradient? How do you tell?
Yeah. So in Pennsylvania, you can end up with a lot of flat, small streams that don't have a lot of
no mountains,
height change in them. But
yeah.
It's different than what you'd think of in North Carolina or in Virginia, where it's a lot of tumbling, high gradient streams that have a lot of grade change. So I like to, and it's relative to what you're used to. But in Pennsylvania, there's usually maybe a bit more subtle grade change in my experience or my opinion around me. So I like to pick places that have a decent amount of grade change because it means there's good moving water, often plunge pools, different levels to work up. And it can also kind of help you choose where to start. So if it's a long blue line on a map and there's no defining features because the whole thing looks like it's covered in trees and you have no idea, what to do, I like to start with where, I think I can get to some decent gradient. So those are some of the first things that I look at.
I like it. Since 2006, Yeti has been building products for anglers who fish hard and share an addiction for the woods and the water. Yeti changed the industry with their legendary coolers by featuring rugged but simple designs built to last for generations and stand up to whatever Mother Nature might bring. Yeti now takes that same functional and elegant design to everything in their lineup, from soft coolers to drinkware, bags, and more. Introducing the Easy Access Ranchero Backpack. It's the latest to join Yeti's lineup of tough-as-nails bags, and it's another part of my fishing gear that keeps me organized and ready on the water. The Ranchero Backpack features a cutting-edge rip-zip opening, so you can quickly tear the bag open to see the gear you need in just seconds. With smart internal organization, there's no more digging through your backpack for tippet spools or fly boxes. And for even more convenience, a handy vertical zipper allows you to grab gear at the bottom without having to unpack from the top. Get in, get out, and get going. Check out the Ranchero line of backpacks at Yeti.com or find them at a Yeti retailer store near you. Tactical Fly Fisher was founded by Fly Fishing Team USA angler Devin Olson to bring anglers cutting-edge gear and techniques inspired by the World Fly Fishing Championships. Tactical Fly Fisher's goal is to supply you with the latest and best fly fishing gear and to help you learn how to use it through their videos and books. Whether you need flies, fly tying supplies, a new rod or reel, or any other fly fishing equipment, they've got you covered. Check them out at tacticalflyfisher.com and use the code TB15 to get 15% off one order, excluding rods, reels, waders, and boots. Visit tacticalflyfisher.com. Yeah, you can tell a lot from the lines on those maps. You're talking about the elevation changes and whatnot. You can really see a lot on those maps, but you kind of have to learn to read them. Another thing I'm looking for especially is public lands. That your access is good. If you are driving 2 hours or more or whatever you're driving, you don't want to round the bend, like I said last week, and see that posted sign.
No.
If it's public lands, you're good,
Yep.
And you brought up you're saying Class A, and that's what our State Fish Commission lists as, well, the highest density of wild trout.
That's right.
And I said, even if it just has wild reproduction in it, I've almost always had good success. And I have confidence if our state lists it as wild reproduction, that's good enough for me. Anyway, you just have to know your state, and some of them call them blue ribbon trout streams, and
different things.
Yeah, wherever there is a density of wild trout population, just trust it, believe it. It doesn't need to have a big name, right? I will say, access to a lot of this can be really tricky.
Sure.
We talk a lot about, hiking in, going in. Well, I don't want to go through dense forest, especially if I've never been there. I don't know how dense it is. Come on. I mean, you and I have beat some brush together, right? And then we have also started through some brush, and we go, this is actually impassable. We can't.
Exactly.
I got into that situation on your favorite river, Austin, where I was trying to go out and around. I'm like, well, I go on the left side because the right side. I couldn't do it. And everything's grown up right now. It's middle of summer, and I seriously just could not go. I mean, everything was so tight. I'm like, wow. I actually had to double back, and I hardly ever do that, but I had to give up.
Yeah, you don't want to give up. You're like, I got this far.
That's right, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you might want to look for marked trails.
I got one thing to add to
On the
that
map.
just
Yeah,
before
please.
we move on from the map thing. One other good resource, it is a map, but if you're able to find a really good locally produced like state forest map, if your stream's in a state forest, I have those for Pennsylvania, at least the company's Purple Lizard maps for us, and they cataloged a lot of state forests in Pennsylvania and also our neighboring states. But those types of resources are great because they'll give you a little bit more intimate knowledge in terms of like what the roads are doing. If a road is gated they'll tell you that. I've spent a lot of time driving back roads to think I'm going to make a shortcut, and then you hit a gate and you got to drive all the way back. They'll also show you where hiking trails are that Google Maps or like a mapping software won't show you. Where state land stops and starts, like all that really good, more intimate knowledge of the people who've been on the trails for different purposes you can use for fishing.
That's fantastic. Glad you brought that up. Purple Lizard is the map in our area anyway. Maybe are they throughout the whole state? Maybe
for at least the major state forests. They're working their way across. They've done a significant amount of work in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and they're great. I have 2 of those maps. You probably have more, but I know what you mean. I mean, that's a good word, is intimate. Like they've been there. These are maps from people who really have been, boots on the ground.
Exactly.
There's a lot of landmarks. Those gates, that's a very good point. Yeah, that kind of brings me to another thought. One of the reasons I drive a 4Runner, and I've been talking about how I used to camp in my Xterra. I've had those vehicles because it meant something to me. I don't know. A lot of people buy a truck, whatever, just because they like the way it looks. For me, I mean, I want a 4-wheel drive vehicle that I can also, I like everything about the SUV style, right?
Yeah.
I can sleep back there, and that's good.
Right. Yep.
It's different than a pickup to me. I have the hatch. I can't tell you how many times I've stood under that hatch, the lid, as it's raining, and I'm just chilling, and I'm putting my waders on or taking them off, all the good stuff. I got a dog. He needs what we call the way back, the furthest back area. That's great. But having that 4-wheel drive, it really takes you into some great spots, and having that confidence that I'm fine. I got clearance and I have a 4-wheel drive. I wouldn't be without it. I never will be. I don't plan on ever having anything but something similar to that 4Runner. That's a big deal. You brought up gates. Yeah, there are more and more gates.
Yeah.
And I've done the same thing as you said. I've gone 3 miles back on something like really narrow, and all of a sudden you run into a gate. You're like, well.
And then you got to figure out how to turn around.
Yeah, that's right. I got to find a way to turn around. I mean, but this is part of the exploration. I
backed into a ditch earlier this spring on a small stream because of that.
Oh, I remember that. And then the Amish people helped you out.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty amazing story. So
not all that
maybe
remote.
We'll get to that.
Austin.
Well, I had to trek back out to the main road. It took a little bit.
Can you help me with your horses?
No, he had a pickup truck.
That's half-ass Amish guy. We've been through this. That's not real Amish.
Okay. Yeah, I will remember that story for later on for the last episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a good point.
All right, I'll remind you.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, those are some of the things we're looking for. Is there any way to tell if the water's cold enough, Austin?
Oh, I mean, simply having the classification is a good place to start.
Good point.
If the stream is wild trout, or really if it's Class A, then there's a fair amount of chance it's cold all year round. I think it can sometimes help to look at where it may originate the best you can.
Yes.
If it's coming off of like a slow meandering beaver pond and gets blasted by the sun all day, then maybe it's going to get warm. But if it's shaded, and again, you got some gradient with some oxygen in there, maybe it's also got a decent classification, you have a good chance at it being cold.
That's fair. I'll say too, if you have the main river, which is, let's say, a big name river, and it's full of wild trout, and everybody knows this, then the tribs are going to be full of wild trout too. Trust that. Every so often, I'm going to be wrong about that, right?
Point.
But you need to trust that.
Sure.
And I don't care if there's 10 tribs, and again, one of them has no name. Go fish it. You're probably going to be pleasantly surprised at how well it fishes. All those tribs should be good. Maybe they're not. That's part of the exploration. You find one, go fish the one that sucks, Austin. Really, we all have.
I've done that plenty of times.
So really, good trips to good water, and most should hold trout. Most of them are going to be colder than the main stem, right? That's fair. That's true. All watersheds have these upper reaches. They're often really productive, and you got to trust that. Watersheds need places for trout to seek refuge in certain seasons for spawning sometimes too. I am not saying to fish over spawning trout. Austin, you agree with that? We don't fish for spawning trout. Leave them alone while they're spawning. Fair. However, trout go into these tribs sometimes and they'll spend 6 months there. They're not spawning for 6 months. They might spawn for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Grobe has talked about this, how he thinks these trout will go up into these tribs to spawn, and they're like, hey, things are pretty good here, and I'm the dominant fish here. I'm going to stay here for a little while and just eat these crayfish and these sculpins. This is good. Life's good right here. I'm going to stay here. You catch some really big trout that way by knowing where trout spawn.
Yeah,
because it makes sense.
There's water
They're going upstream, all that, find colder water, find the right gravel, whatever.
Yep.
Thinking it through. Understanding your watershed.
It can be good to often start exploring in the higher gradient sections of these waters instead of maybe the flatter, more wider valley floodplains.
Good
start
starting
higher,
point.
maybe start higher, maybe work your way down.
Yeah.
If you must.
That's true.
Closer to the spring as well. I mean, if it is a freestone stream and you're worried about water temps, the higher you go, theoretically, it may be colder depending on where those springs come in. But
every trib has, the place where it goes into the main stem. Sometimes, and you could see this on the topo maps, sometimes the floodplain right there, or the valley where it goes into the main stem is really wide. Other times it's very narrow, where it comes right through the channel in a mountain, between two mountains. It's coming right down a steep valley. Look at that. If you've never been there before, look at the gradient change on the map, and you'll understand what that's going to look like. Anyway, if you go there, and you're going to see it too. I'm with you. I'd much rather start in the middle or at the upper part than the lower part. Usually. Now, I'm saying because a lot of lower parts are in that wider floodplain, and I don't have as much confidence in that. Anyway, start up high. Another thing is fish for wild trout. I just strongly prefer wild trout over stocked fish. Really, in this case, too, because the river supports a year-round population, and you're not guessing about the presence of trout. And if it's stocked trout, you don't know if the trout are there. You don't know if they stocked there, if they float stocked there, if people took every single trout that they stocked out of there.
Right.
Kind of sucks. So once you're there, once you have decided on this stream, and you got good access, you're looking right at the water. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to start reading water often right away. You're looking for a good mix of riffles and runs. I like to see, pools mixed in there, of course. Is there any good structure? Is there a bunch of timber in there? Is there a fair amount of bends?
Yeah.
I like some depth changes as well. If that's good, or if that's there too, that's nice. If it's just one long, shallow riffle, don't necessarily love that. I like to see some good holding water. Also, if there's any signs of bait fish or food, that's always a plus. Of course, you can check the water temperature as well.
What are you looking for on temp?
Cold enough.
What's your cutoff, Austin? Come on, man. Man up. What's your cutoff?
Somewhere between 68 and 70 degrees.
Oh, kind of high, don't you think? Like everybody's got a cutoff these days.
Do you have a badge? Are you going to arrest me?
Right, the warm water police. I had a guy the other day tell me that we were killing trout. My buddy Steve and I were fishing, and he said, "Hey, you guys are killing trout down there." That's what he said. And I said, "What?" And he goes, "I took the temperature last night. It was 70 degrees." I said, "Well, it's like last night." And I said, we took the temp down there. It was 67.2, and it's 2 o'clock. Yeah. It was 2 o'clock. It was 67.2. I said, we're all right. Yeah. And we were done, actually, by the way.
Yeah.
And so all morning, it was like 65, 66. We're good. It's okay.
Yep.
And he reiterated, well, you're killing trout. I said, no, I completely disagree. And I walked away. I didn't want to have a conversation. Anyway, most small streams are going to be, that's one of the reasons we're fishing them. because it's a reliable cold water source. It's one of the coolest things about fishing small streams. You don't really have to worry about the temp too much. I would take a thermometer. I would take the temperature. And anyway, if it's over 68, 69 degrees, don't fish it, right?
Yep.
That's fair.
Yep.
You ever take the pH level? You ever think about that? You ever care about that?
The only time I did this was in a Penn State chemistry lab.
Like a science class.
Yeah, you had to do.
They forced you.
It was a study on water hardness and pH of some sort of local water source, and most of the kids went to like the local water fountain, but I went down to our local creek because I wanted to get some good information.
Well, do you remember the numbers?
No, I don't remember the numbers.
You don't. I don't have a pH tester. What was it? The little tabs, or did you have a digital?
Oh no! This was you collected a sample, brought it back, you run it through a bunch of equipment and chemicals, and it would turn colors depending. Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me you had like a portable digital solution.
Yeah, a pH meter or a Brix meter is not very complicated. You could go to any stream and measure that. It was more involved than what I'm letting on.
Interesting. I mentioned last week about the Charlie Meck book, and he has a full section in there about the pH levels of streams. Good point. In Pennsylvania, we have a lot of acid mine drainage.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's getting better. Anyway, he says a pH level of 6 or higher is preferred. And when it's down into 5 or lower, it's acidic then, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lower number is more acidic. And seriously, like trout can't survive in that kind of situation. I don't know. You go take the pH of every stream out there and let us know. Please, Austin. Do it. Don't resist.
I think we should recruit someone else for that.
We'll make Deli do it.
Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah, Deli will do it. Made a good point, though, about the bait fish, about the hatches. I mean, what do you see? When you get there, what do you see? Structure, timber in the water, good stuff. I mean, I'm looking at what the river holds to kind of lead me. I just kind of follow instinct at this point. You know, like, where do I want to fish? I don't know. What looks good?
Right.
And for sure, as I'm walking through shallow stretches, I'm seriously looking for bait fish. As I'm walking through brush, I'm looking at spider webs. I mean it, same as you, to see what's been hatching. You know, does it have good bug life? You could turn over rocks. That's a great way to do it. What's in the water?
Yep.
If I don't see a lot of bug life, I might not expect that they're going to be all that eager necessarily to come up for my fly, for my dry fly. Then again, they might be even more eager because they haven't been fed for a while.
Sure.
Since 2010, Smith Creek has designed innovative guide tough gear for serious anglers. Introducing the new Fly View chest pack system, Smith Creek's most advanced accessory yet. Built from marine-grade aluminum and lightweight PE foam, the Fly View is rugged, modular, and made to keep up with you on the water. Fly View's lid features a built-in 3x Fresnel magnifier, giving you a clearer view when you're tying on fine tippet, especially if your eyesight isn't quite what it used to be. With 5 swappable tray styles and an external lid patch with a magnetic fly holder, the Fly View chest pack can comfortably hold well over 100 flies, all in easy reach. Spend less time tying and more time casting with Fly View. Visit them online at smithcreek.co for more information.
I think too, like, regardless of where you end up once you get there, I mean, if the water doesn't look great, just walk upstream a while and start once you find something that you have confidence in. So you don't need to burn up half a day fishing through some nondescript water just because it's now you're in a small stream. Like, go find some good water, figure out where, if there's going to be fish in there, they'll be here. Collect data in the most convenient way possible first, if it's available to you. And then at least you can get some confidence or get some answers early on.
Yeah, I always say, like, don't fish everything. Like, you want to pick your spots.
Yeah.
You almost can't fish everything.
No.
Well, and keep moving. Right. One of the keys to fishing small streams is to cover water. That doesn't mean you're covering it all. So pick your spots. Walk a lot, yes, but test things for yourself, like you're saying, and see where you're moving trout. You don't have to catch them. If you get interest from a trout, well, there's a trout. Cool. I know where they're holding. Great. I might not have had the right fly. I might have had a lousy presentation on that one, but I just moved a trout. That gives you confidence.
Yeah.
You're just looking for if this is a brand new stream to you, you're just looking for where they're holding. And at first, you're just looking to see if there's trout in there. I remember fishing with my buddy Brandon Weaver in Vermont. And the first day, the stream we fished, we could not find fish anywhere. Second day, we got into them pretty good. I was like, oh, the stream does hold trout. But you need that confidence when you're in a new spot.
Yeah, and if you're not used to fishing small streams, go back to maybe some of the concepts or logic you use when fishing big rivers, or because a lot of that's still going to apply, but trout are often even more condensed into just the right water. So, just size everything down in the way you make decisions.
Right on, like dirty water, you might target the edges, right? Colder water conditions too. Same thing like in big rivers, you might target the pools first. I say, that stuff's going to still apply. And I'm going to say, like, stay open-minded to changing those tactics too. I love fishing dry flies. That's really all I want to do in a small stream. But if it's not working, I'm ready. I'm ready to change that tactic. So I'm going to explore all those water types. It might be the riffles. You have to be open-minded. Where are fish feeding? You got to find them, and then where are they really going to, respond to your fly? I think that research or picking the stream in the first place ought to give you the confidence that then once you get there, you go, now I know there are fish here. This is listed as a Class A stream. I got to find where they are. Don't give up. And we're kind of acting like this can be really tough. It can be. It can be really tough when you get to a brand new stream to almost make yourself believe there's fish in there. There are.
Yep.
Go catch them.
And you can go through stretches of water where it's much less productive. And you get around the next bend and it's a beautiful series of pools and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And you just have to believe it's there, kind of like you're saying.
Yeah.
And just because the first section you fish doesn't look absolutely magical, doesn't mean that the next 100 yards that you can't see is completely different, because these streams change a lot, especially gradient.
That goes back to the exploration. That's what's so fun. I've had so many situations exactly like what you're talking about. I'm like, this isn't what I expected. Oh, this is too wide. There isn't enough gradient, and there's not enough shade or whatever. I'm not very excited about it. I'm fishing along. I missed a little fish in an hour, and that's all that happened. Like you say though, you keep going upstream, you keep moving, you go around, I don't know, some bend or whatever happens, and you go, oh my gosh, it's completely different stream. I love that. That's that exploration. You got to keep going. And just trusting it. Every so often you get to the end of a small stream trip and you go, all right, that was kind of a bust.
Yeah. Sure.
Usually if you keep going and you keep your heart in it and just knowing that, well, there's fish here, I'm going to go catch them and I'm going to find them. You are going to find them. That's the exploration. That might be the most important thing, I think, about small stream fishing, is that feeling like I'm an explorer. I'm a pioneer, Austin.
Yep.
You know me.
Pioneer.
Big pioneer.
Yeah. Huge pioneer.
Huge. I put the H in there. I put the H.
Yeah, very good.
Such a hard word. Last thing for me.
Okay.
Should you return to the same water? Let's say you have a banner day. It starts out great. It finishes great. You're like, oh my gosh, I caught 50 fish.
Yeah.
And the biggest one for you would be like 9 inches. Good for you, Austin.
Not bad. Yeah. Pretty good.
Not bad. I'd have the 19, but okay. So anyway, you have a great day. And I don't know. Like, how do you decide? Should you just keep going back to that water, or maybe it's just a personal thing, I guess. But
sure.
Do you want to keep exploring? Maybe the next valley over is really even better.
Yeah. So for me, again, we're talking about luxuries a little bit, but if I look at where I live and I turn on the Class A button on the map, so to speak, right. I've got 24 around me in maybe 30 minutes. So right now, where I'm at personally is I want to keep exploring and keep looking at new streams or new sections of the same stream.
Yeah.
And then maybe after I strike out a couple times, I'll go back to the one where I know it's good, regain some confidence, have some more fun catching fish, and then keep exploring. I don't necessarily have a number on it, but just because of the sheer quantity of options, I try to kind of spread my impact out, but also get to learn a lot as I go. I don't know. I don't necessarily have a hard and fast rule.
Of course not. Yeah. Same thing here. Back to the exploration. That's the biggest reward. for me on a small stream. And I love finding those places where you go, now that is special. That was a great day.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you repeat it. You go, that wasn't a one-off. This really is a special spot. And there's nobody here.
Yep.
And you feel like it's yours. And I'm not going to go back 10 times. I don't think you're hurting the resource or anything. Like just by fishing it 10 times in 2 years.
Oh, no. I don't think so.
But I just want to know what's around the next bend. I want to know, again, like what's the next valley over. That, to me, is the biggest reward. And like by the end of my life, I want to know as much about what's around me as I can. Trout streams, because that's all that matters, Austin.
Yeah.
It's
something that keeps you going.
Yeah, it is. And I want to be able to say, not to anybody else, but to myself, I want to be able to say, that watershed that's north of me.
Yeah.
And I said last week has probably like 30 to 40 tributaries. I want to be able to say, I've fished all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I know what they look like. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you just never know what's going to be there waiting for you. It's great. Love it. Anything else, Austin?
Yeah, I got to get off here. I got to go to sleep because Brooke's going to wake up here in about 2 hours. And
you got to go.
I got to go feed her and take care of her.
It's all right. We covered it all.
Yeah, she's going to wake up and she's going to smile right at me and everything's going to be okay in the morning.
I love it.
Yep.
Short period of time, buddy. Go enjoy it.
All right.
All right. You want to read us out?
Okay. So remember, the Troutbitten Project is a free resource for all anglers. The Troutbitten website hosts over 1,500 articles, videos, and podcasts with endless stories, commentaries, tactics, tips, and more. Find what you like through the top menu and through the search page. Navigate by way of the categories and the tags too. Be sure to find the Troutbitten YouTube channel, now featuring the Troutbitten Tip Series, Fly Fishing the Mono Rig, and the Troutbitten Fly Box, all in collaboration with Wilds Media. You'll also find the fish and film videos and the new Riverside series, all in their own playlist on Troutbitten YouTube. Thank you for listening to the Troutbitten Podcast. Please give the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave a comment, because that really, really helps. Until next time, friends, fish hard, enjoy the day, and find your life on the water.
I once walked into, there were 3 forks of this tributary.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah. Anyway, I walked far.
You can't be having people yell "hey now" at you while you're wearing your clown shorts.
I haven't worn every once in a while. They're not clown shorts. They're like 15 years ago.
They're really bad. They're like capris, man. We're moving on.
Moving on.